This is going to be attempt number 3 of attempting to record a Fireside chat for episode 3. I'm your host, Flak Wilkins. As usual, I haven't prepared a subject, and the first 2 attempts have been cancelled due to audio pollution and just general... It's just... Yeah, 'tis the nature of being forced to move back in with mommy to make rent. But this is the hand I was dealt. Well, the hand a lot of us were dealt. As usual, I don't really have a subject. And honestly, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to talk about. Because it's getting harder and harder to try and record these things every week. It's become something that I absolutely loathe to do. Because, well, the real core question of it is, who cares? This isn't art, this isn't even a confidence building exercise, it's just rambling and then uploading it online for nobody to fucking care about. The whole idea was to just, the whole idea was to have my voice on demand, so I stopped, bothering the people that I actually care about in their daily lives. So if they actually wanted to listen to me talk and talk and talk, they can, suffer of their own accord and, not have me force it on them. I must have gotten up on the wrong side of the fucking bed today. Today is unusually rough. This week has been spent not really doing anything of note. I have effectively spent all 7 days of the last week sitting here, paralyzed at my desk, terrified of the future. I was looking into German and Austrian schools and universities, looking into various towns that might have decent rent, but honestly, until my truck is fixed and it's getting closer and closer to looking like it never will be, what point is there? What hope is there? And maybe that'll be the theme for this episode, is how to press on and how to press on when you've forgotten a world with hope. Because, I know I've forgotten that. And admittedly, this is probably going to be one of my most depressing chats ever, but I'm a very, very depressed man. I can't keep a smile on for the camera. It's just something I'm unable to do. Not even a camera. I can't even keep a smile on for the microphone. I guess some people would consider it a miracle that I'm even pressing on despite all this. That's the one thing I've really taken to pride myself on, is my perseverance. A word that probably means a little too much for me. Because Lord knows when you attach yourself to a word and you do so much, it either defines you or it fails to define you, and you end up looking like a fucking idiot and a hypocrite. And that just ends up making you feel even worse. I just wish recording these didn't really feel so much like an obligation. When I have my truck, when I'm actually doing okay, it's not an obligation, I'm actually doing fine, but I haven't been fine for a while. But regardless, here I am doing absolutely everything I can to make it work. Because I have nothing to report. I don't have anything to add. I don't have anything to really prove or disprove. Because there's no point talking about, the things I want to work on when I've been spent a week wanting to work on it and haven't done anything to work on it. So, maybe that's something, like I said, maybe that's what it is. How to keep going when you'd otherwise lose all will to live. It's a question I've been trying to answer for myself for a long time now. Because it's not easy. It really isn't. Overcoming your anxiety, overcoming your just overall daily terror, overcoming your own self-hatred in order to get anything done. To get literally anything done instead of just like playing games to avoid your lack of general competence. To pretend that you actually matter, to pretend that you can actually do something in your life. How do we convert that energy from pretending to actually doing? And more importantly, how do we avoid robbing ourselves of the victory? Because, admittedly, that's one of the biggest challenges. Because I can sit here and say I've achieved so many things, and indeed I might have. But so long as the world has people who have achieved more than I have, I immediately use it to rob myself of any gains. After all, why go into the terrifying unfamiliarity when you can stay couched in the comfortable and the familiar? I think that's the big problem. Is that it's too easy to get comfortable in your suffering, that it's too easy to just say that, well, this is it. Lord knows I have, several times. But alas, little by little, tiny bit by tiny bit, I still can't manage to keep pushing forward. It'd be nice if I was back on my fucking meds. But American healthcare means I can't have my meds. I can't have very, very necessary anxiety and depression medications that keep me from getting in these states. They keep me from getting too depressed to really talk about anything worthwhile, to keep me from getting too depressed to even record in the first place, to the point where I have to push myself so fucking hard in order to get these things done. Because I know at the end of the day it's an absolute necessity. I can't afford to not make these things. Because I promised myself earlier on that I wanted to make art. And this, don't get me wrong, this isn't art. This is the furthest thing from it. This is a regurgitation, if anything. This is taking up valuable storage space and bandwidth from Google servers. But at the end of the day, I need to be able to do it. Even in the difficult moments like this. If I just canceled it from here on out like I said I would, like I told myself I would, then that would be the end of it. That would be the end of my dream. Which is to make meaningful art. Because you can't make art without the confidence to fucking put it out there in the first place. And if I don't have the confidence to put this low effort drivel out, then what's the point of even moving forward? Because I'm already so painfully aware that everything I do is a net negative on everybody I talk to. It's just... it is pointlessly difficult. It's very hard. It's harder than most things I've ever done. Trying to find the strength to keep pushing forward with these things, despite the fact that it's become a chore for me. Because I know nobody listens to these things. I know nobody fucking cares. I know that fucking people hate me about as much as I hate myself. But at the end of the day, I want to tell stories. And I can't tell stories if I don't put this out first. Because I've spent my entire life telling stories to myself. And that's okay. But it's not what I want to do. I have greater ambitions than that. And to service your ambition is to make sacrifices. Thankfully, the sacrifice here is a very low cost. I merely sacrifice a moment's comfort to record, edit, and then upload once a week in order to gain the confidence and the drive to do this. Because it's hard. Especially days like this when I wake up and I'm wondering if I'm fucking dead or not. Because I think maybe everybody's had those dreams where somebody kills you and you're kind of left sitting there, laying there for about 5 minutes wondering why you're still conscious somehow. You're grappling with your own subconscious on whether or not you're alive or if this is your brain in its final moments trying to make peace with itself. It's the first time I've ever woken up like that in my entire life. And I guess it's had more of an effect than I thought. If it's, driven me to be this fucking depressed over it. I think the most disappointing thing for me was I woke up. Just that I woke up. That I was still alive. Part of me wishes that things were just over then and there. Because in that dream I enlisted and I was immediately thrown to the dogs as a general infantryman, given an old dirty rifle and very poorly fitted fatigues, and told to go die for my nation. And I somehow managed to miraculously survive for a whole week in active combat because I was one of the few that could take cover and had halfway decent marksmanship. And then it was like a moment when I was sitting out of combat, ready to tell people that I was fine, I enlisted, and the most dangerous thing to me was the fact that my body was fucking burning from the physical exertion. That I was more likely to die from that than from enemy action. And then right then and there, fucking couple of tears out of the corner of my eye, and all I could do was put my hands up. And, well, it didn't work. The muzzle flashed later, and there I was laying in my bed, asking myself if I had actually died. And to my chagrin, I was still alive. Because that's the big thing, is that was the most, like, even despite the fact that I was given a crappy old rifle and I was sent out to explicitly die in a pointless war of aggression, I was the most fulfilled and happiest I had ever been ever since I came home with a brand new college level SRI score when I was 6 years old. The most fulfilled I had ever been in 18 years. And I'm most disappointed that I just wasn't able to die happy and fulfilled like that. No. Part of me wonders if this is my actual hell. Sitting here, terrified that my future has nothing in store for it except for a slow, painful demise, being choked out by the very government being choked out by the government. Despite me doing absolutely everything I could to fit the mold of everybody else. And I just couldn't. I did my best to work a part-time job, I did my best to work full-time jobs. But my autism, my depression, and anxiety just means I can't. It's extremely severe. Especially when my Medicaid was ripped from me because I bought my truck and had bought it with cash instead of making payments on it. Meaning I went over the savings limit for my Medicaid. I have people all the time telling me that I'm a hell of a lot stronger than most, and that many would have died for less, but I'm not too sure about that. Maybe in time I'll be able to earn that feeling of fulfillment and purpose that I did in my dream. Because Lord knows I'm unfit for service. Not with these mental health issues, and certainly not with my physical fitness. I won't be able to earn it through military service and putting my life on the line to defend my family like I used to really want to do and still really want to do. That's just not in the cards. And so here we sit, contemplating the meaning of life. I'm honestly sorry this episode has ended up so abjectly depressing, but at the end of the day, this is the nature of the man I am. This is who I am when I'm not in my truck and I haven't been able to work in weeks. I'm just not happy. I don't think there's anybody on earth who could be more quintessentially miserable than I am. And maybe that's my special talent. Maybe that's the special thing that makes me unique from everybody else. That no matter the setting, I can always find something to be miserable about. Because as much as I'd love to pretend that it's what actually makes me unique is the fact that even in a world without hope, I'm still somehow able to push forward. Plenty of people do that every day, and they do it with less whining than I do. I'm nothing special. If there was one thing to make me special, to stand out from everybody else, even though the fact that I'm not, It'd probably just be the fact that I'm willing to say the quiet part out loud. Maybe. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. As it is, I think this will have to be the end of the episode. Thank you for joining me for the Fireside Chat. You have a good one.